Despite Risk of Rain 2 just coming onto early access as of last week, we have a game that has a very strong first impression and could definitely be one to keep an eye out for. So, if you haven't heard of the Risk of Rain franchise, the first game was a 2D side-scrolling roguelike, where you need to survive waves of enemies with an ever-growing difficulty modifier the longer you played. Now, the main issues that Risk of Rain 1 had was that it felt a little bit too repetitive on multiple playthroughs, and the multiplayer architecture was just simply not up to par. It was a direct IP connection and was just very frustrating to get things going. And following the game's release, the developers kind of went dark for a while. But with Risk of Rain 2 appearing on early access, things are definitely looking up. So the first big thing you've probably noticed already is that the game is now in 3D. You are able to move around in the environment, which the environments themselves seem to be hard-coded, but item placements and what enemies will appear are completely random. Now, the basic rules still apply. The items that you find in a level are hard-coded passive perks. Those are all those little icons you see at the top of the screen. The more of the same item you collect will enhance its properties. And the idea is that you want to get as many items as you can to enhance your character. You choose your character from a selection of classes. They determine your stats, as well as your primary abilities that you see in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, in the upper right-hand corner, you see the difficulty modifier. And every few minutes, the difficulty will go up. And what this does is will make the enemies harder, they'll be worth more experience and resources, and it will obviously be a lot more tricky to stay alive. Now, one of the biggest improvements to Risk of Rain 2, and what is definitely having the game start off really well, is that the multiplayer connectivity has been greatly improved. The game allows for quick matches, team up with friends, private plays, you name it. And we encountered very little lag. I believe this is a client-host architecture. So everybody connects to one player, and then that person kind of operates as the server. And from what we've played so far of several nights, there is a lot of fun to be had playing Risk of Rain 2 in multiplayer. Another great thing about being in 3D is that all the items you collect now show up on your character in some crazy hodgepodge of, I guess, hoarder syndrome of items like coming all off of the character. But, again, the basic gameplay of Risk of Rain 2 is the same as the first one. You're looking for a teleporter that, once activated, will spawn in the boss wave. Defeating the boss will then allow you to power up the teleporter to then move on to the next stage. And again, all the while more enemies are spawning in, there are elite variants, and it can get just very nasty for survival. But when you do die, you'll return back to the main menu. And as with the first game, Risk of Rain 2 features several elements of persistence. You only start with one character class to begin with, but can unlock more over the course of playing. As you complete in-game achievements, new items will be added that can drop over the course of playing, and that you can find the various treasure chests and shrines in the world. And the game definitely hits it out of the park with the expanded multiplayer, and it feels like this is the way the game is meant to be played. However, while Risk of Rain 2 does fix a lot of the issues that were present in the first game, from what I've seen so far of the early access version, there's still a few of those long-standing complaints remaining. And we're going to talk about those next, but first, a quick shout out to our Patreon backers. And now for a quick thank you to our Patreon backers. And if you'd like to continue this discussion on game design, you'll find our Discord channel linked down below. In the original Risk of Rain, part of the issues that I had with design was that the general game space wasn't interesting enough to create variants upon multiple playthroughs. And from what we've seen so far of Risk of Rain 2, those problems still remain. There are a few set biomes that are in the game right now, and I'm sure there are more to come. But the biome itself doesn't really do all that much to affect your general gameplay. The fact that you're now in 3D opens up a lot more in terms of vertical and exploration, but the environments themselves are just very much empty. The only major things you have to keep an eye out for are the points of interest, like the shrine right here, treasure chests, things like that. One new feature the game does have is a form of persistent upgrades or persistent items in the form of Lunar Orbs. You can find lunar coins hidden as you play, and these coins remain persistent across your playthroughs. If you find a lunar shrine, you can use it to get a super upgrade for that play. And that is an interesting idea, but again, it doesn't really add more to this world. I was hoping we would see more things like new enemy types, new biomes, even events that can take place. We did see a few of those during some of our playthroughs. But again, once you know what you're doing in Risk of Rain 2, there's not much for the game to really surprise you on or change your strategies outside of the different classes. But as with a lot of good roguelikes, the fact that my main complaint is I want more stuff is not exactly the worst complaint to be had. And with the game being this polished and refined within the first week of early access is certainly an impressive state of affairs, and it can only grow better from here. With that said, we're going to end things for this first look, but we will certainly be playing this more on stream and taking more looks at it over the course of 2019. If you're interested in picking it up, it is available on Steam Early Access right now, and I'll include a link to that in the description below. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching this first look video. Come back for daily discussions on game design here and on game wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games. Until next time, this has once again been Risk of Rain 2, and I will see you all then. If you're looking for a book on design, my first title, 20 Essential Games to Study, is out now. It is available where most books are sold, and it comes in paper, hardcover, or digital copies. This is the perfect book for anyone interested in learning about game design, whether you are a student, enthusiast, or just a fan. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed things, be sure to do all the liking and subscribing that the kids are doing these days. Check out our Discord channel link down below where we hang out and chat game design, and come back later tonight for our regular streamings. But that's it, and tune in for more great content here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games.